Quentin Grimes once out. Damn, son. Hit that rock. Now, before we get started, make sure to hit like, subscribe to the channel. Make sure to hit the dark notification bell so you get each and every notification for each and every video I put out there. I appreciate you guys being here. Also, make sure to visit underdogfantasy.com to bet on all the prop bets you want to bet on throughout the NBA, NFL, MLB, across all the major sports. I literally just won some money betting Danny Avdia and Dante DiVincenzo points, though. Dante DiVincenzo is going to come back after that Rockets game and hit at least over 15 points. And then Danny Avdia typically has good outings against the Knicks. Definitely hit for me. And so it's nice to win some money with Underdog Fantasy, which again, use the code word Legion LOK to get matched to $100. Now let's talk about it. Your man Quentin Grimes, according to Fred Katz, as well as Stephen Bondy of the Post, might be on his way out of New York. Fred Katz the other day reported on how the Knicks are looking to trade for a player that can help now, but also be flipped in the summer for a bigger star. While other reports are saying that the Knicks are staying away from going after a contract or a player that may be a big trade right now, and they're waiting for the summer to kind of act on it. Meanwhile, Stephen Bondy of the Post has just come out and said that Quentin Grimes has been complaining about his minutes and his time and his usage. Should be complaining about his play on the team, but Stephen Bondy saying that Quentin Grimes complaining and that Tom Thibodeau soured on him after that playoff series against the Hawks, where Quentin Grimes haven't shown issues. Now, I don't know about the latter part, but the beginning part definitely could see that Quentin Grimes was taken out of the starting lineup around December 5th. I believe that game was against Bucks, or I think that was his last game starting. And they inserted Dante DiVincenzo into the lineup. Now, I can't sit up here and lie. The offense looks just much more fluid without Quentin Grimes starting. Now, granted, the offensive rating since your man Quentin Grimes has been taken out of the lineup has not really changed, but the points per game has definitely improved drastically. And granted, the offensive rating is also based on offensive rebounds, which Mitchell Robinson at the time was just an absolute beast, probably on a historic run before he got injured. And Dante DiVincenzo, Tom Thibodeau just preaches, not Dante DiVincenzo, Isaiah Hartenstein, he kind of preaches this philosophy to control the boards. And so whether Mitch was going to be there or not, you're going to get high effort each and every night. And so that's why the offensive rating didn't really take a dip. It actually kind of stayed the same, going from 11th in the league to 10th in the league once Dante DiVincenzo got inserted. But then the points per game shot up drastically, went from 111.1 a game, which is good for 23rd in the league, to 118.2, which is good for 14th in the league regarding points per game. And it just shows, man, Dante DiVincenzo just has a way better chemistry with Jalen Brunson. Obviously, they were former mates at Villanova, but even when you look at the offensive numbers, shooting numbers between Dante DiVincenzo and Quentin Grimes, it's not a major fall when you talk about catch and shoots and whatnot. And right now, it's just when you look at Quentin Grimes catch and shoots. Again, he's shooting relatively well from the field, shooting around 39.9%, which is decent. Around 36.4% on guarded catch and shoots, 42.7% on unguarded catch and shoots. Dante DiVincenzo's season shooting around 42% on catch and shoots, period, which is better than Quentin Grimes is 39%. 37.4% guarded and unguarded at 46%. But again, it's all better numbers than Quentin Grimes, but there's just a lot more chemistry, a lot more fluidity. I think part of it is the fact that Dante DiVincenzo just doesn't have any wasteful motion to his shot, very wasteless release. Again, he can kind of go into heat checks mad early on in games, but he's just much more of a fluid shooter. Quentin Grimes, a guy who's worked with JJ Redick over the summer to try to align his body right when he's shooting. A guy who, it shows here and there, but honestly, to tell you the truth, when you need those ones, it's like, yo, we're down by 3, down by 4. Yeah, I hit that clutch shot wide open. He doesn't make those gimme shots. He's a rhythm shooter. And again, I would actually say this season, because he's shooting slightly worse on the guarded catch and shoots than unguarded. He typically shoots better he typically shoots better on guarded catch and shoots than unguarded catch and shoots. I would say this season is somewhat of an anomaly compared to what we've seen in the past from him, even ranging back to college. But just with Quentin Grimes, I think there's a lot of cooks in the kitchen regarding his mentality and how he's thinking about shooting the ball, how he's thinking about the offense. When you see him out there, he's so frenetic, he's so frantic, he gets the ball, whether it be Brunson or Randall, and they need somebody to help create. And your man just takes the ball, hot potato right back. He has a ball at the corner, fakes a shot in the air. The guy's jumping past him. He's still thinking in his head, damn, that guy's right behind me. That he'll sometimes dribble and then kind of come back to that same corner spot instead of just driving on the baseline. And granted, he's not the most adept on the ball, but I just think right now so many things in his head. He's trying to work on what he's trying to incorporate. He's learned over the summer. He's trying to embrace the starter role. He understands that this lineup, this team they have aspirations past the second round, whether it's valid or not. This team is trying to move past that second round after getting there and losing to the Miami Heat last year. And I think a lot of the pressure's on him. Again, defensively, he's a decent player, but you can also see Tom Thibodeau's trust kind of waning in him. Now, you've seen the minutes kind of going down. He's no longer averaging around 20 minutes a night. It's around 15, like around 14, 15 a night. You kind of got to taking that starter role. He's no longer the defensive stopper. Before it was him, then it was Josh Hart, then obviously the Knicks trade for OG Anunoby, which is an indictment, partial indictment on Tom Thibodeau and Quentin Grimes, because Tom Thibodeau wanted to go small, uses kind of smaller guards, having these smaller, nimble guys who can kind of play aggressively on the help defense as well as then close out on the outside, move quick on defensive rotations, and it didn't work. Quentin Grimes' defense, even start the season very foul prone, very ticky-tacky, just wasn't really culminating into anything that would help the team on a night-night basis. You couple that along with his inconsistent shooting. Granted, the numbers are the numbers, but I can tell you a bunch of games where you needed threes and Quentin Grimes just couldn't deliver. Now, to go back to what Stephen Bondy said regarding the shoulder injury, now, it would have been nice to have someone else help contribute on that team besides Brunson and my son RJ Barrett, who's now up in freaking Rexdale or whatever in Canada. But to sit up here and say that Tom Thibodeau took him lost favor Tom Thibodeau because of shoulder injury, I'm not sure about that. Now, granted, Tom Thibodeau's going to run you, as they say, run you into the ground or play a lot of minutes and try to get as much as he can from you, as much juice from the rock. I know, pause. But I just find it hard to believe that Tom Thibodeau really lost faith in Grimes because of that series last year, because he still started him this season. He had big plans for him to start this season. And if Tom Thibodeau's fairly resolute. If that was the case, Quentin Grimes probably wouldn't have been starting. Quentin Grimes would have been given those minutes, those heavy minutes. I'm gonna say heavy, but those solid minutes early on to start the season to try to prove himself to be the 3-and-D guy. So I gotta disagree with Stephen Bondy on that one. And granted, I'm not gonna sit up here and say whether he's whatever it is, what it is. I just disagree with it. But it is looking like the Knicks are trying to move on from your man Quentin Grimes, whose minutes even have started to have been dwarfed by my other son, Miles McBride, who was a 3-and-D type of smaller guard. It's not necessarily Quentin Grimes, but has come in recently, been able to play at a relatively high level outside of maybe the past 1 or 2 games tonight, against the Wizards and the other night against the Rockets. The guys come in, been able to hit some big shots for the Knicks. In the other game the other night that we lost to Orlando, I think he scored, 20 something, maybe it was 18 points, 27 points. Fearless, be able to hit the 3 from the outside, 3 off the dribble, using screens. He looked better using screens than freaking Quentin Grimes. Now, granted, Miles McBride, again, I think they look at him as a solid role player, but nothing. Well, granted, they gave him the $13 million 3-year deal, but I don't think they see him as, he's going to be out defensive stop. He's going to be what Grimes was. But the fact that his minutes started to kind of taking over Grimes shows that in a pinch when Tom Thibodeau needs somebody to go out there, hound the backcourts, hit some threes from the outside, he's no longer calling on Grimes. He's calling on Miles McBride, which is, is a little, that's a nice slap in the face. So now there are some other teams that could use a Quentin Grimes, in theory, the 3-and-D guy, which I think you do better going off to a team with less attention. I've heard that the Hawks have been interested, the Mavericks as well too. I've been interested in a guy like Quentin Grimes. Again, smaller markets, and he might be able to thrive with other gravity players. Trae Young out there, who's been him and DeJounte Murray, another name the Knicks have been interested in, have not really found that gel, that mesh. The Mavericks with the gravity player in Luka Doncic have been missing a scoring punch since they lost Jalen Brunson. Now, Quentin Grimes is not Jalen Brunson, but, you know, they play a lot of 5-out spread offense with the Dallas Mavericks. And so Quentin Grimes could slide in easily, play the similar role that THJ has played. But it'll be interesting to see. The guy's up for a contract extension. Given the amount of minutes he's averaging now, he's definitely not going to get paid that much. It's not going to get extended to any sizable amount. And so he's be a relatively cheap asset, especially going into next season. But it's up to Quentin Grimes to find his way in this league. Too many times you look at Quentin Grimes and, you know, people said, oh, he's the 3-and-D guy. You could just slide him in, and it hasn't happened. The guy that people said, oh, put the ball in his hands and he can operate, and people still have these dreams from Kansas. That's not him. You know, when I gave the first assessment of Quentin Grimes, people killed me for it. I said that he could be your Danny Green. And Danny Green, I'm talking about Danny Green for the Spurs, which you take that Danny Green any day of the week on any squad that you have. A 3-and-D guy could play some quasi to even sometimes shut down defense and doesn't need the ball in his hands. I mean, there's a reason why they got OG Anunoby, a guy who's improved our defensive rating to now where we were just freaking lingering in the 20s regarding our defensive rating and our opponents' points per game to, I believe now we're still number 1 in defensive rating, number 1 in opponents' points per game since OG Anunoby's arrival. And that's what Quentin Grimes is supposed to be for us. A guy who could sit in the corner, hit those corner shots, and doesn't need the ball to be effective. And it seems to me he needs the ball to be effective. And what he's saying, he needs the ball to be effective. When I think of a 3-and-D guy, you're not supposed to be a guy that have to kind of flow the offense through. You're supposed to be a plug-and-play guy. So we'll see with Quentin Grimes. It's unfortunate. You know, all the guys that this regime have been drafting, they've been selling off for parts, whether it's, you know, for draft picks, Obi Toppin, or for players such as OG Anunoby, who are kind of for the now and the recent versus the future, giving him off, getting him back for trading off RJ and IQ. And now Quentin Grimes. It seems as if the guys that this regime have been drafting, they've been kind of been flying by, man. It's kind of bittersweet, but it is what it is. And I'm hoping Quentin Grimes kind of finds, even with the Knicks, with how many remaining games he has, to find some semblance of confidence, man. This is a guy who refined his game coming out of Kansas. Realized he was no longer going to be that point guard, especially struggling in the Bill Self's system. Went over to Houston, reformed himself, as a 3-and-D player, and found himself first-round pick in a draft. And there's a lot of hope, there's a lot of promise, but I think some of the anxiety is getting to him. I think it may be time for Quentin Grimes to be out. From according to what guys like Fred Katz have said and Stephen Bonnie, it seems as if things are starting to move. So we'll see how the Knicks move. Will they go after Bruce Brown, who will probably fit this team a lot better? Now, granted, people say, oh, he's the same thing as Josh Hart. He's not. He's more of a scoring glue guy. Josh Hart is more of a defensive, rebounding, passing glue guy. But Bruce Brown could do a little bit of everything. Do the Knicks go for Bruce Brown? Do they go for the scoring guard off the bench in a Brogdon? Do they go for a dynamic player who could stagger into lineups and be able to help be your third guy in closing, DeJounte Murray, who, according to reports, could have been had for IQ and a first? I don't know how true those reports are. Got to take it with a grain of salt because now he's going for 2 first-round picks. We will see, but Quentin Grimes might be out in New York. It's kind of tough, but let me know what you guys think. Do you guys think that these reports are true? Quentin Grimes is complaining. He wants out. Do you think that he's just going through some stress and anxiety right now, which you see on a court when he gets the ball, going crazy? It's like, boy, chill out, son, chill out. What do you think? Who do you guys think we should get? DeJounte Murray? My Dunlife from Atlanta? Bruce Brown, a guy I liked a lot on the Nets. The guy was playing center for the Nets. The guy, you understand? He's playing center for the Nets. Won a championship with the Denver Nets. Let me chill. Let me know what you guys think. Make sure to hit the like, subscribe to the channel. Make sure to hit the dark notification bell so you get each and every notification for each and every video I put out. I appreciate you guys. Gmo, Legion, and Knicks. Salute.